Hi everybody, this is God's Girl G. Thank you so much for joining me today. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. And for those of you returning to this channel to watch this video and you're not already subscribed, I'm going to encourage you to do so by clicking the subscribe icon below. And if during the course of this video you hear something that you like, click the thumbs up, comment below, or better yet, share this video with someone who you feel could benefit from this information. With that stated, let's get into today's discussion. Today's video is actually a fun video. It's a video I've been wanting to make for a long time. And if you guys have been following me for any period of time, you know that one of my favorite books of all time is the book called Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. And in this book, it talks about the story between Hosea and Gomer. So this book came out actually a number of years ago. And let me give you the setup of, let me tell you a little bit actually about the author and then a little bit about the story. So the author, Francine Rivers, back in the day, probably back prior sometime in the 80s, going all the way back, she actually was just a historical romance novelist, and she got into relationship with God, and she no longer wanted to write the same stories that she was writing. And so her first endeavor out of the historical romance was to write about the love story that was biblically based. And that is how Redeeming Love was birthed. Now, in this quick video, I'm just going to talk about the things that I liked about the movie and whether or not you should go see it. Now, I am going to do my best to not mention any spoilers. Okay, so this is just me talking, and I am in a different room in my house than you guys normally see me in. This is one of the old locations that I used to film in, but for the day's discussion, I thought this might be very telling. Okay, so now that you know about Francine Rivers, let's talk a little bit about the storyline or the plot of the book. Okay, as I stated, the book Redeeming Love is based on the biblical characters or the biblical story of Hosea and Gomer. Now, for this book, she took the setting from biblical times to around the 1850s California gold rush time. It was a time, as the description says, that where men would sell their souls for a bag of gold and women would sell their bodies for a place to sleep. So I want to talk about 5 things that I was really impressed about with the movie. Now, the book, stellar. You still need to read the book because the book is good. So I want to talk about 5 things though specific to the movie. Okay, here goes. 1, the screenplay for this movie was stellar. Okay, so normally when you go to see a movie, particularly a Christian movie that's based upon, like, whether it's a biblical story or another story that someone wrote that has biblical principles, and they go to make it into a movie, it doesn't quite make it well. The actual transition from book to movie usually doesn't go well because they try to stick exactly to the way that the book was, but the book is a different experience than you would see it on film. So they made adjustments accordingly, and it was just so wonderfully written. The script was so good. Every line that was said, you could tell they put a lot of time and energy into making those lines just right. Second, the acting was really, really good. Again, normally whenever I go see a Christian-based movie, there's a couple of things that stick out. First of all, they have one good actor that they count on to carry the entire movie. I'm not gonna name no movie names, okay? But trust me on this one. This movie, every single actor carried their part. From the villains to the main characters, they were very, very good actors, all of them. And they portrayed the character in such a believable state. So the acting was just up there. It was great. Diversity. Now, I don't care any way that you put it. Diversity is a sensitive topic, and I think it's something that Hollywood needs to pay more attention to. There needs to be a diversity of people playing roles. I don't care what time of our history that we are in, there have always been diverse people around in this country. Sorry to bust anybody's bubble on that. This movie, though, considering that it was the 1850s and it was California, did a really good job bringing in diversity, considering all of that. From Asians to Latinos to African Americans, it was a diverse set. You could completely tell that. So love the diversity. All right, so the next thing is emotional. Okay. Y'all know, okay, well maybe y'all don't know, I can be a crybaby sometime. And this movie, probably for the first 30 minutes to 40 minutes, I was crying like a baby, just boo-hooing throughout the entire movie. And for those of you who have read the book, you know how gut-wrenching the story is, especially in the beginning, to see exactly how the main character, how she flows through life and she ends up where she's at. The movie displayed that so brilliantly to where the viewers were able to feel the emotions, the gut-wrenching emotions of the main character. So it is an emotional journey. The movie, I believe, is rated PG-13. I would say you can carry a 16-year-old to this movie, and I think it would be good because it's a movie that it talks about a lot of really emotional stories. I mean, about prostitution and how someone is sold into prostitution. It's very emotional. It's a lot of triggers in this movie, so govern yourselves accordingly. And then finally, here's my review. When I was going out on YouTube, as I was looking like, who else is making reviews about this movie, a couple of thumbnails that I saw is this too racy for Christians? And listen, y'all, for some of y'all that are just so blessed down with olive oil, listen. We live in a real world, okay? And I am just appreciative of the fact that someone was willing to take a story as ugly and as full of triggers that it is, dealing with prostitution and really slavery, human trafficking, right? That someone was bold enough to put that on there, but with a wonderful message, a wonderful gospel message. So is it too racy for Christians? Absolutely not. I mean, if some of y'all want to be that holy and be all blessed down with olive oil and act like none of this goes on in the world, then you're deceiving yourselves. Because in the real world, this stuff happens. And I think it carries with it a wonderful message of redemption, which is why the movie and the book is called Redeeming Love. Now, will you see some flesh in this movie? You will. You will see some thighs, some legs, some shoulders, some neck, but that's about it. Nothing like that you wouldn't see probably on cable channels or anything like that. Few cuss words in it, nothing that I would say you don't already see on TV. But again, you've got to listen to the message. It was really, really good. So I hope you enjoy this just lighthearted video. Everything that I do does not always have to come with, a Bible lesson with lessons. Sometimes it's just nice to be able to do something that's fun and lighthearted. So thank you so much for joining me today. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Bye.